And welcome back to the Power Accountability League. I'm your pal Dan L. This is my channel. And I've heard some rumors that Henry Cavill may be returning as Kal-El. Today's video is entitled Mark Rober and Tom MacDonald. And those are two personalities, YouTube personalities, so their fame has grown beyond YouTube. I think Mark Rober has 19 million subscribers. I don't know how many Tom MacDonald has. So we're going to talk a little bit about both men, and I'll explain to you at the end of the video why I'm talking about them. Mark Rober is smart. He's young, smart, personable, handsome. I think he's married and has a son or something. Yeah, his son may be autistic. I'm not sure about that. And he's a former NASA engineer. Got to be smart to do that. He was a bigwig at Apple, and now I think he just focuses on his website. And his website's, you should check it out. It's a good website. It's got a lot of fun stuff on it. But I actually have more respect for Tom MacDonald than Mark Rober, which is strange because you've heard me in my videos go into a diatribe about how it's not impressive if you've covered your body in tattoos and piercings and stupid clothes and stupid hairstyles. I'm not impressed with that. I don't think that's a sign that you've reached adulthood, or I don't think it's a sign that you have a high opinion of yourself. But I could be wrong. I mean, you can't look inside the minds of other people. But I've just never been impressed with people who do that. Like, hey, look at me, covered in tats, piercings, stupid clothes, stupid hairdo. But so Tom MacDonald's got all that. Got the stupid clothes, stupid hairdo, the stupid tattoos, and the stupid piercings. So why do I like him better than Mark Rober? Mark Rober is clean cut. He is low key. He's got his clothes are normal. His appearance is normal. He doesn't try and shock people with his appearance. Again, he's well spoken. So he's not into slang. I'm sure Tom MacDonald. I'm feeling Tom MacDonald's probably into slang. So again, those are things I'm not impressed with. Slang and all those superficial qualities that Tom MacDonald has. Again, so why do I have some sort of admiration, respect, affection for Tom MacDonald, which exceeds that of Mark Rober? Well, there's a reason for that. And again, Mark Rober, is a good person, not a bad person. He's got this glitter bomb thing, which I think is totally wonderful. So I should respect him more, Mark Rober. Last name I think is Rober. Anyway, you'll find his channel. It all has to do with the fact that he's made some videos saying that he has scientifically proven that people are basically good. And that would be wonderful. Man, that would be wonderful if science has proven that people are basically good. But those videos that he's made more than one of them, proving using the scientific method. Mark Rober came up with it on his own, I assume, and he employed the scientific method to prove that human beings are basically good, morally good. That when they have a choice between right and wrong, they're going to choose right. When they have a choice between good and bad, they're going to choose good. A choice between righteousness and evil, they're going to choose righteousness. And of course, you know what my opinion is. No, unfortunately, human beings, we're not basically a good species. Now, if you ask me the same question about bunny rabbits or about bluebirds or about salmon or trout or dolphins, any other form of life on this earth, they default to basically non-psychotically aggressive. So basically good in my book. If you've found a way not to be irrationally aggressive, I put you in the good category. And as you know, one of my defining characteristics for the human race is we are irrationally aggressive. And we're irrationally fearful, irrationally ambitious. Kind of all works together, doesn't it? Kind of all fits together, doesn't it? Irrationally aggressive, irrational aggression, irrational fear, irrational ambition. Well, we can understand where the irrational aggression comes from. It's because of our fear and our ambition. Anyway, so Mark Rober is wrong about that. Human beings are not basically good. And I wish they were. I wish I was wrong. I do. I wish I was wrong. But all the scientific and anecdotal evidence is we're not. It's and I just laid out why. It has to do with our ambition. We want to control everything. We want to basically enslave. We can't handle anything which gives us the slightest discomfort. And I've told you, and actually I've made, and these are videos I haven't uploaded to YouTube because I'm going to go to another platform, but I've made videos, you haven't seen them, and I'll share with you in future videos the platforms. But I've made videos saying if you want to be impressed with something, go out into to a natural setting, go out to a forest, a jungle, and just observe nature. Caterpillars more impressive than human, but a monarch butterfly is more beautiful than humanity and more impressive, in my opinion. And that's just two forms of life. Of course, now it's one because caterpillars evolve in a. See, I screwed up there. But the point being, the reason we have religion and an uncountable number of laws is to keep us from misbehaving. We have religion and we have laws on the books. In the state law library, an uncountable number of laws and regulations and codes and statutes and ordinances. These are all words for rules. We have rules governing human behavior. And there's so many of them, you literally, if you sat down today and tried to count them all, you couldn't. You'd have to live to be about 400 billion years old to count. That's just in the USA. We're just talking about laws, rules in the USA. We're not talking about any other country. Just to read, and again, you couldn't memorize them. There's too many of them. So religion and an attempt at creating a rule of law society to control the tendencies of the human race, our aggressive tendencies, our irrationally aggressive tendencies. And I think Tom MacDonald, somewhere in his soul, he knows this. And Mark doesn't. Mark Rober, again, super smart, super well educated, super accomplished, has people probably do and should envy him for his natural gifts, the things he was born with, his intellect. It's very impressive. But yet, despite all of his intellectual accomplishments, he's wrong about the human race. We're not basically good. We're basically bad, though I've stated, and this in other videos, we are the most bizarre contradiction in the universe. Human beings were basically driven by negative impulses, but we don't like that about ourselves. This is something that I don't think can or will or can ever be explained. Human beings are basically bad actors. Human beings misbehave, but we don't like that about ourselves. There's no other form of life on this planet, no other form of life we know of in the universe, which refuses to follow its basic programming. The basic programming for human beings is incredibly psychotic, irrational aggression. That's our basic programming. Ultimate super predator. Human beings. We're at the top of the food chain, not an accident. 65 million years ago, we were mammals. We were at the bottom of the food chain. Now we're at the top. It's not an accident we went from a small little mouse, a small little furry rodent, to what we are now. It took 65 million years for us to get here. And you know how we got here from the bottom to the top? Ambition. And you know how we satisfied our ambition? Irrational aggression. It's sad. None of this makes me happy. All of this is a sad, depressing thing to consider. But it's also truth. And by the way, like I said, this doesn't mean I dislike Mark Rober. I don't. I like his channel. I like Tom MacDonald. I just like Tom MacDonald better because despite all of his things that I've complained about, the superficial things, I think there's some sort of spark in his soul which understands what's really truly important. And he's also honest with himself. I think about the human race. I could be wrong. Tom MacDonald might come out and say, I agree with everything Mark Rober has to say about humanity. So I could be wrong. But it does say something about me. I can get any way that you've presented yourself to society, which says I'm antisocial, because that's how I interpret it. So it's like, look at me, look at how I've scarred my body. I can get past all that if I get a sense of your moral compass. If your moral compass is in a good place, but your self-esteem is in a place where you got to cover yourself in tattoos and piercings, I'm going to default to your moral compass. That's what's going to impress me about you, because your skin pigment, your religion, your gender, your sexual orientation, those aren't the things that matter. And I've said this in a lot of other videos. Those aren't the things that matter. It's your moral compass. Now, intelligence, that's important, but you know what's more important than intelligence? A moral compass. So if you have a scientist who's got an IQ of 145, genius scientist, but he's like, but he's got a terrible and you have a person with an IQ of 70, less than half the IQ of a genius scientist. But this person with the IQ of 70 has a good moral compass. That's a more impressive person to me. If you've got an IQ of 70, but you've got there was a movie called Door to Door with Willie, what's his name? I forget the name of that. Anyway, there's a movie called Door to Door. You can look it up on IMDb. I think it was on the Hallmark Channel, and it's about a guy who was mentally challenged, but he had a great moral compass. He's more same. And I'm gonna say, when I think of the Elephant Man, was that his name was John Merrick, or maybe not Joseph Merrick, maybe anyway. I think his name was Joseph Merrick. The Elephant Man. The Elephant Man had a hideous external shell, but the Elephant Man had this beautiful internal soul. And so was the Elephant Man Einstein? No, but the Elephant Man to me is more impressive than Einstein, because while Einstein was incredibly smart and I think had a pretty good moral compass. Well, that's a bad. Well, that's a bad example, but I'm gonna stick with it. Einstein's incredibly impressive to me, but the Elephant Man's more impressive than Einstein because the Elephant Man, I think, had a more perfect soul or a more beautiful soul than Einstein. Not that Einstein had a good soul and a good intellect. Just Elephant Man had a more So anyway, to get to the bottom of this, when I look at you, I may complain and say, "Come on with the clothes and the hairstyle or whatever outrageous thing, however you're trying to shock society with your external appearance." I'm gonna get past all that because I'm gonna be looking at your moral compass. I'm gonna be looking to understand your moral compass. And if I come to the conclusion that you got a horrible moral compass, then that's who you are. That defines who you are. And like I said, intellect is important. Moral compass is much more important than your intellect. So if you're super smart, as many people are on the planet, but you've got a bad moral compass, in my book, you're worthless. But if you're not that smart, if you've got a low IQ, but you've got a good moral compass, then you are an incredibly important part of the human race. So that was today. This is kind of a trivial video. Not a lot of profundity here. But I just wanted to state that this is part of my own introspection. When I look inward at my own soul, I say I like these two people, but one of them I like better than the other one, and it's because I think Tom MacDonald, despite his appearance, may be a little bit smarter than Mark Rober because of the moral compass factor. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. You take care, and leave a comment down below. And remember, comments drive the algorithms, so thanks a lot. Bye-bye.